Welcome to the Wondercast, the official podcast of the Isle of Wonders Fantasy Festival in Cres. Today we're talking with two very special guests. Actor Jed Brophy was an essential part of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. You've seen him as Sharku, Snaga, and countless of forgettable faces of Middle-earth. Adam Brown joined him in the Hobbit trilogy, as they played the roles of the Dwarven brothers Ori and the Nori. Together, they shared battles, laughter, and plenty of prosthetics. And now they're sharing their stories with us.
Welcome guests, welcome friends, welcome Jed Brophy and Adam Brown.
Thank you, Anna.
How are you liking this? How was your weekend?
Well, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's like 100. I've had
100?
I've had the best weekend. The island is incredibly special, stupidly beautiful.
Stupidly beautiful.
Stupidly beautiful. And the people are wonderful. And this festival, this con, is just something really, really unique. And I've never, ever experienced a convention like this. I think it's down to the people and the setting and you know, the heart that's in this place. I've just had a blast. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Also lovely to hear. And you, Jed, this is not your first time on Cres.
I know. I'm so excited to have been invited back and to have made it back. You know, it's always one of those things where you hope that you can get to do it, and sometimes in our profession you can't, and I'm so pleased that I was available. This is, like Adam said, this is the best con I've ever been to, and it's down to yourself and to Tony and all of the volunteers who make it special, but also the people in the town who embrace it. Yes. And one of the most exciting things for me doing the opening ceremony was seeing how many kids were just loving the fact that there was a thing happening in their town. Yeah. Running with their wooden swords, being part of the action, being part of the knights running up to the castle.
Oh, so special. We were on the boat looking out onto the harbour, and I was saluting the children and they were saluting back and cheering us. And I think I remember that for quite some time.
There were a couple of boys on a boat, like on the entrance in the Pisciariola where you were entering, and just on the boat, like 5 friends. And it was so endearing, like the 5 friends who actually envisioned this festival while being raised on Cres. It was such a full circle doing that, yes. Yeah. Thank you for this. But it's not about us, it's about you. And we don't have much time, so let's cut to the chase. And you filmed The Hobbit together. That was your shared experience doing Peter Jackson's movies. You were brothers there, Ori and Nori. And tell us your most funnest day at the set.
That's a hard one, because every day on that film was a real pinch me moment, whether it was riding down a river in a barrel, getting to fly in a helicopter to set, to riding horses. Every day was just really special and unique. I can tell you the worst day on set.
Oh.
Like every day was fantastic for me. I would relive it all again. All of it, except one day that I never want to repeat ever again in my life. A very quick story. I have a real phobia of fish. I hate fish. I've had a phobia of fish ever since
Welcome to the island.
I know. I like to eat them, delicious. But if I'm in the sea and some little fish swims between my legs, you are hearing some fool screaming and running out. Like, I hate it. I never went to an aquarium. So there was a day where literally my jaw dropped to the floor when Peter Jackson picked me out of all the dwarfs. He only picked several dwarfs. You were one of them.
Yeah, Mark
Hadlow and myself.
And McTavish.
The rest of them got away with it, but they picked us to be inside a barrel, and the barrel, it's in Lake Town. I don't know if you remember the scene. We're in Lake Town and we have to hide to get into Lake Town, and they cover us in fish, raw fish.
Not fake fish.
Not fake fish. Like, And because we're dwarfs, the scale of these fish, they're massive. They're really big. So yeah, I obviously couldn't tell Peter Jackson about this stupid phobia because it's Sir Peter Jackson. So there I was with my friends. They were going, "Come on, Adam, you can do this," in a barrel. Above my head was like a tube filled with dead, rotten fish. And I think it was disgusting. But word had got around set, so all like the guys that hadn't been picked decided to come and watch it being filmed. And they just shouted action, and hundreds of dead, rotting fish filled the barrel, covered my head, well, covered our heads, or both of us, and it was really heavy, really uncomfortable, and above all, it really smelled bad. It was so disgusting.
Worse for you because you were first. So
Yeah.
you had to wait right till the
Oh,
end.
he was first?
Yeah, so they did Adam and then Graham and then me and Mark. And I think, because Mark was the last one, so he was in it for the longest.
It was horrible.
It was like... yeah.
And then, honestly, after that day on set, I think I had about 5 showers, and I could still smell fish on me. Like I absolutely, because the fish juice. Do you remember? It used to,
Went into our...
But that's my question. Like, it went into your wig and your fat suit.
honestly,
and
like there were like little bubbles forming between our prosthetic makeup and our own skin, where when you push the bubble and fish juice would just
come out.
The
The fish had been in the sun for quite some time, so they weren't fresh fish. They were fish that already had that very going off smell. And I know that I was sitting there going, oh,
And do you know,
how do you
Do you know
clean?
what I think about? The amount of CGI in those movies. Why not just do CGI fish?
I know.
Why put it? I think Pete really enjoys putting us through the ringer.
he really does.
Yeah.
That other day that was quite bad was when we were on the spit.
Yeah.
So we were all on the spit, and I had Graham McTavish's boots right in my face, and we're all being rotated on this giant spit above the fire with all the things
In
coming
Trollshaw,
out.
yeah.
In Trollshaw, and we got dizzy. And Pete just kept it rolling, and he was giggling by then. He was going, "Oh, you know, the guys are going to be sick." And Mark Hadler was sick.
It was hot. It was like a theme park.
It was
really,
like a theme
really
park,
bad
yeah.
theme park, right?
And then the boss is just giggling his head off, going, "Oh, you know, someone's going to throw up soon. It's going to be really funny." Sure enough.
Oh, I did not expect that.
Yeah. So that was our worst day on set. That doesn't answer your...
Well, did you have a best day?
The barrel scene going down the river.
Yeah.
And for me, also the first day in Bag End, because
Yes.
there we were actually in The Hobbit. That was our first day where we were on film. Where we actually, that's the beginning. We're in it now. We're playing our characters, and it was the first day we had to actually be a group of dysfunctional dwarves, some of which didn't think that Thorin should be king, all playing our family units. And that was a kind of a very wonderful thing.
Yeah, that was a great one. I think that, and actually, at the end of the first movie, being attacked by the wargs and falling from the tree with, I think you were up there as well.
Yeah, Hedlow was hanging onto your legs.
and we were on ropes and we filmed that, and that was
wonderful.
that was a great
Getting
thing.
to ride the eagles, which are real.
Yes, real eagles. You now have them, don't you?
Yeah, we do, yeah.
You get to keep them, or you had to
I-
buy
I-
them like
I
Viggo
got to keep
Mortensen?
them,
Ha, okay.
I released them. And
That's
then
how
they-
he got to the island of
Yeah, that's
Cres.
how Munway's Eagles brought me here. It was quite wonderful.
Yeah, the eagle transfer is waiting for him in 10 minutes.
It's amazing.
Can you tell us something about the beginning? So that was the first day, but it was not the first day you met each other. That was, and before that, there were auditions, or just the entrance point for you guys. They were different. How did that look like?
I was the last dwarf to be cast, and I'd been working on the previs. There were 6 Wellington actors were playing all of the dwarves for Peter to work out how he was going to write Bag End and fit them all in there. So it was myself and Peter Hambleton and a guy called Phil Grieve, and I don't believe Mark Hadlow was there, but I think he was meant to be there. But we did some work doing some troll stuff as well. And I knew some of my friends were going to be cast. I helped Liz Mullane do the audition, so I read opposite them. So I got to read opposite Peter Hambleton, who became Gloin, and I knew that because I'd had a conversation where Peter had told me that he was going to possibly cast Peter Hambleton as Gloin. Yeah. But I didn't get to audition as a dwarf. But I'd been a dwarf, and unbeknownst to me, Peter had been talking to Weta Workshop about how to make me look bigger, because I'm quite lean. And I'm of the opinion that once they cast Adam Brown, they decided that we could be the leaner family, like the more kind of structured and cheekbones. I got a phone call from Liz Mullane saying, "You're going to have a really, really good day today," which was an obscure phone call. 5 minutes later, my agent rang me to say they'd cast me as Nori the Dwarf. And
So you were the last one?
I was the last one.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, and I burst into tears. And for 3 months earlier, everyone had been going, "Oh, you're going to have a great year this year, Jed." I'm going, "Well, thank you for that. It's a
Wow.
great piece of advice," but I wasn't sure why. Because everyone at Weta Workshop had seen my designs. I was the last person to find out. Yeah. So that's how I got cast.
Surreal. And you?
I had a call from my agent saying they were looking for a Bilbo Baggins because Sherlock weren't releasing Martin from the films to film The Hobbit. I mean, Martin was always going to be Bilbo Baggins, but there was some negotiation with the contract and the BBC. And so at the time they were looking for an actor under 5'7". So I went and did my audition and was told it was a great audition by the casting director, and they said, "You will know pretty soon." I think I waited about 6 weeks. I completely forgot about it. And then my agent rang and said, "Are you sitting comfortably? You're about to fly to New Zealand to live there for 2 years." At that time, it was 2 movies.
Yeah.
You will have a house, a car. Your life will change, and I couldn't quite compute it. I don't think.
Yeah.
And even when I was there, I was going around going, "I think they've got the wrong Adam Brown."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually went and looked up who that other Adam Brown was. He's an American actor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was like, I was going, "You're so wildly different to him."
Yeah, I think he was riding off being
Adam Brown as well.
Adam Brown for a while, and was getting some press saying that he was going to be the next dwarf, but it was me. Yeah. No, and it changed my life in a beautiful, beautiful way.
You became a full-time Kiwi for life. Once you come and do a movie for Peter Jackson, the whole country embraces you. That's the
Really?
thing that people don't tell you. At the premiere in Wellington, 100,000 New Zealanders turned up. It's the largest red carpet ever, and I think it's the largest red carpet in history. It's certainly the longest. A lot of those people who I'd done theatre with, I'd done films with, done TV with, people who supported me my entire career, and there's nothing I could ever do to replace the feeling of being in my hometown where I'd started my career and have that many people just so happy for us. You get to do it maybe once in your career if you're lucky.
And you're privileged to experience that.
Absolutely so privileged. And it's such an honour to be in a franchise that people love, because that doesn't happen very often either, does it?
Yeah.
That is the family you get with the movie,
Yeah.
but you also got the family in the movie, and you two seem really tight, and you seem like good friends, and the brotherhood is really visible. And this is something that was nurtured throughout the movies and filming, and also the boot camp you had.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you guys really took me under your wing, really, didn't you, when I arrived? And because we didn't start shooting anything for 8 weeks, we had boot camp. It was a really clever way of us uniting as a company, I think. Basically, we were doing horse riding lessons, singing lessons, stunt training, the gym, and learning to be a dwarf. What was it like to walk and talk and be that character? And we did that for 8 weeks, and it seemed like a long time, but it was a clever move by Pete that, it was like we're friends at that point, and then we went into filming. So there was no first day experience. There was no kind of awkwardness. And it's a really clever way of. I guess Pete and Warner Brothers had the luxury of that. Similarly enough, I've worked with directors before, and even doing plays, and we do a read-through of the play, and one particular director I just think he's brilliant. We do a read-through of the play, and then he says, "Okay, that's enough for today. Everybody, let's go to the pub." And it seems such a waste of a day, really, But actually, what happens in that afternoon with those actors that are just excited to work together, the next day there's a shorthand.
Yep.
You know, we spent the afternoon just being us together, and we had that for 8 weeks, so I think we got there quick, didn't we?
We did, and you learn people's actual true nature, and that can inform you how you actually work with them as characters as well. Like, Graham McTavish really loved to give me a hard time, and I thought, okay, well, I think Nori and Dwalan are going to have a little bit of enmity. Because, you know, he thinks he's all that because he's been this warrior, and I'm like, well, I've been living rough. You don't scare me. You might think that I'm little. I'm going to, you know, whatever. And we started playing that. And we had the luxury of talking to each other about how those dynamics might be. Which dwarves we got on with, which dwarves we didn't, which dwarves didn't trust us. Some of them were higher up the ranks in terms of being closer in relationship to Thorin than some of us. So some of us were not related at all. And so how did we feel about them being on the journey? How did we feel about ourselves being on the journey? That 8 weeks allowed us to actually explore that stuff while we were doing movement training and dialect training and fight training. How did we fight? Who was the good warriors? Who wanted to be a good warrior? Who was surprisingly good at fighting? All of that stuff. And that all happened before we got to actually start filming. So we were very, very lucky to have
I think
that
I
time.
remember a day in boot camp where we were like, okay, Thorin is going to be here, but walk around and in the next 2 minutes get in line to where your status is throughout that. And you know, you just suddenly go, oh, you can see the status of all the dwarves. I was right at the end, but you can see the dynamics of how that sort of works. I remember doing that.
Yeah,
And it wasn't something that was artificially made or decided by Peter Jackson.
No.
Just happened fluidly, organically.
Yeah, and even when we came to rehearse on set, Peter went, well, you know, here's where the action is. It's a scene between Thorin and Bilbo. The rest of you just sort of find where you would naturally be on set. And that became a kind of a, for me, because I was given the license of being a thief, I would look at what I could steal. Pete made the mistake of telling me that if I could steal it on camera, I could keep it. So that became my little game as to where is like I'd always be, where's the exit out of here? Because I've been a thief, so I'm always looking for where can I get away?
Yeah.
And also, what can I take? And then the props people would be going, they'd be watching me going, no,
not today.
I'm not taking anything.
And I was the scribe, you know, in the Mines of Moria. Ori's there with the skeleton, with the book, and, you know, that they read. And that was the journey through. Whenever there was a quiet moment for Ori, he would be documenting he'd be writing. He did his own Bridget Jones's diary, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, yeah. And then, because of our brother, Mark Hadlow was the fussy mother goose, he would be constantly telling us what to do, where to stand. And we'd be like, no.
No.
Because Ori's character is trying to form his own kind of self. He's been stuck at home with this older brother who's just like, no, you'd never be a warrior. You can't come on the journey. You can't do this. And my character was just going, he can do what he wants. And he's going, I don't want him to be like you. It's like, why? What's wrong with me? So that was a great dynamic that we got to play as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
For the end, I have a question. Do you think that what Peter Jackson did with the movies on set, and then, of course, for us watching it, but it starts with the set, which is clear from all of your stories, that what he designed was very, very deliberate to honor certain values on set, to liberate for us as well. How would you say those values reflect Tolkien's legacy?
Yeah, Tolkien was all about inclusivity. He's about people who normally wouldn't be heroes being put under stress, do the right thing for either their group of people. Like the thing that a lot of people forget about the dwarves is they're trying to reclaim a homeland that's been taken off them. They've basically been told to get out of Middle-earth by the elves, by Smaug. They don't have their kingdom anymore, and this is something that they feel very, very strongly about. And it's a part of the New Zealand culture too, this idea of being tangata whenua, people of the land. The dwarves were made first by Aule and then put to sleep for 200 years, and then the elves came and they're lording over everyone. There's an enmity there. And so we've already got a massive chip on our shoulder. We might be individuals within that dwarf community. We might not be liking each other as families, but put under pressure, we become the solid, massive Kuzdal dwarves. You better not mess with us. You better not get in the way. And Peter was really strong on that, on playing. You're disparate until there's a need for unity. And within that, Bilbo's trying to navigate how to pull us all together to get us to where we need to be.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Does that sort of sum it up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you think young people should watch the Hobbit movies and read Tolkien?
Precisely because it's about the underdog taking on the world. It's what, fantasy and life is all about, really. Is don't just because you're you in a small town or a small place, you can save the world, and that's precisely why his movies and Tolkien's work is still so relevant today, because those bullies, whether they're in the playground or in government, won't win. The little man will, and he will take on the world.
Yeah, there's a code that you live by, and that code is that you don't persecute the weak, you don't persecute women, you don't try and take over the world and have it just for yourself. One of the things in Tolkien's work is there's always one bad guy and a whole lot of lackeys that are not that important. On the other side, there's a whole lot of people all working together who don't put themselves above each other. There are, the fellowship are en masse, Sauron's on his own, because they are so arrogant, they believe that they don't need anyone else, and that they are just there to kind of, manipulate everybody else. And on the other side is people going, no, we have to work together, or we're never going to be able to overcome this. And it's that idea of community. Community is really important. And that's why this event is so important. What Tony and yourself and all the other volunteers have done, have gone, let's make something for this great little town that we can celebrate every year. And I think that's very Tolkien-like to me. It's one of the reasons why when Tony reached out, I said, I'm definitely in, because I grew up in a community just like this.
Thank you, Jed, and thank you, Anna. It was just such an honor and a blessing and a joy to have you here and to have you here again. And I really hope we see each other next year.
We're definitely coming back.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anna.